a lot of comments saying ranking, no thank you. Not interested by being ranked. Don't spend money in ranking, in creating this way of understanding benchmarking. This is not really the most powerful side of benchmarking, isn't it, Christian? But indeed, if we have to have criteria, first of all, this is a very difficult game in which we have to enter. That should be in evolution, not fixed criteria for a full programmation period, but an economic object that is able of ongoing evolution with degrees of flexibility, with one major objective, benchmarking and quality circles and performance improvement, not anything else. By the way, still on this point, there was a lot of input saying, well, we need policies that are more welcoming, clusters that put a focus on services, innovation, of course, and on downstream application with a lot of end users involved in the project, in the development, with a real business development culture inside, and maybe less, and I suppose there will be comments about it, maybe less dominance from the research sector. In the same category of input, there were also comments, and especially from a representative of local authorities and cities, to have more rooms for civil society, NGOs, and NUTS 3, NUTS 4 players in partnerships, and the place-based concept again came back on the table with the proximity factor, etc. Ranking criteria, yes, services. Last point, coming back to the civil society, a lot of people said, well, basically, and I said, there is a lot of creative industry clusters going on. There is somebody mentioned the role of media. I don't remember who it was, but indeed, some people said that there is a drastic need in order to reach that credibility, that exposure, that visibility, politically and economically, to have a real media content, media expertise, communication expertise in all clusters, and that sometime, for some of us, we could regret that we are, being engineers, scientists, economists, very poor communicator. This is, of course, not only for clusters, but for all intermediaries playing with policies. And last but not least, I think altogether, a lot of people concluded by saying, yes, of course, what policies should encourage and incentivize is interclustering, of course. I suppose this is also something that was said.
Yes, but said, it's still so that a lot of, in my three parts of the round table, said we don't see really a clear vision still for cluster policy, or strategies missing. So as you said, Juan Manuel, they're looking for 1, 2, 3 years project financing or whatever, or regional government elections or something like that. So we need, as you said, a 10, 15 years perspective to say, now we start and we get maybe in 10, 15 years a result as Upper Austria has done also. Then the time is too short. The other point is the coordination between the European, national and regional level on cluster policies. I think that is very difficult to coordinate. When I see that within Germany we have a national policy from 2 different ministries and from 16 regional governments, and we are not able to coordinate, so I have no idea how several hundreds of European regions and 27 states and different general directions can coordinate the policy. But this should be a start to have a common European Commission-wide clear vision and strategy for the next 10, 15, 20 years, and not looking, okay, Innova period is till, I don't know, structural funds is up to 2013, okay, then we have to create something. It must be a longer period. And again, something practical, I like always practical things, is how we can make better our clusters, the functioning of the clusters. We have to know which are the new technology trends somehow. Because if not, it's a lot of work for us. So if there is a body who says, these are the technology trends over the next 5, 10 years in this industry or the other one, then the clusters have a base to know in which direction they can steer their companies, or the research may be better. But not only, because all surveys can be okay, but they can also fail. So it can be a direction to strengthen the clusters. And as you said, the interclustering, yes, always is necessary. Without intercluster cooperation, it's nothing possible. But interesting point was, we have to cluster the clusters. I mean, you said something about the corridors. If it's a corridor or not, but it can be also from Sweden to Spain without a corridor, for example. But to create a cluster of clusters in a specific area could help us to be more visible in Europe, let's say again, world-class clusters oriented. So I'm finished too.